Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a cheetah. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's height, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. You don't have to draw a perfect circle, but if you're having trouble drawing one, just trace the outer edge of a bottle cap, a lid, or anything else with a circular edge. Above that, draw another circle as a guide for the head. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Make the head circle about half the size of the body circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. Draw a horizontal line across the middle of the head circle for a construction guide. On the top left side, draw a curved vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom left side of the head, draw a smaller circle as a guide for the muzzle. Place the circle for the muzzle directly below the vertical construction guide. On top of the head, draw 2 small arcs as guides for the ears. Make the arc on the right slightly bigger because the head is turned. Connect the head to the body using a couple of sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. The shape of the neck should be wide at the bottom. On the bottom right side of the body circle, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. Starting on the bottom left tip of the guide, draw a line that curves up and to the right for the top edge of the foot. On the left side of the body circle, draw another angled line as a guide for the other front leg. Starting on the bottom tip of this guide, draw a line that curves up and to the left for the top edge of this foot. To the left, draw a long horizontal line as a guide for the first hind leg. Slightly higher, draw another long horizontal line to make the shape of the hind leg wider. Slightly higher, draw a longer sloping line as a guide for the other hind leg. Draw another horizontal line on the left side for the lower edge of this leg. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch 2 small circles for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the lines. Draw a horizontal line above the eye on the right for a half-closed look. On the left side, draw a couple of short lines for the inner corner of the eye. The eye on the left should be thinner because the head is turned. Draw straight lines for the top and right side of the eye and a curved line for the bottom. Draw dots in the middle of the eyes for the pupils. Next to the pupils, draw tiny circles for highlights. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small triangle for the nose. Draw the nose close to the left edge of the initial circle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. Use a wavy line for the top edge of the nose. On the sides of the nose, draw short curved lines for the nostrils. Make the bottom of the nose thin and pointy and draw a short line inside. Below the nose, draw a line that curves to the right for the first part of the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. The tip of this line should touch the edge of the initial circle. Draw a shorter line on the left for the other side of the mouth. Darken the left edge of the initial circle for the side of the muzzle. Curve this line up toward the eye on the left. Below the mouth, draw a curved line for the chin. Use a series of short angled lines as you darken the chin for a furry texture. Draw a long curved line from the eye on the right to the tip of the mouth for the marking on the face. The bottom of this line should curve to the right. Draw another line to make the shape of the marking wider. Use broken lines to create a furry texture. Darken the arc on the top right side for the first ear. Add a few wavy lines on the right side of the shape to give the ear structure. Draw a series of short angled lines within the shape for the ear's furry opening. Draw the ear on the left the same way. Darken the guide and add a few short angled lines inside. Darken the basic path of the big circle to create the shape of the head. Make the top of the head flatter than the initial circle. As you darken the edge on the left, curve the line in toward the eye to create the brow. Draw a curved line that's made up of short strokes on the bottom right side for the rest of the head. Use the thin shape on the bottom right side as a guide to draw the first front leg. Darken the shape of the guide, but make the lines more curved for the muscle structure. Draw a sloping line inside the body for the inner edge of the top of the leg. Use a few short angled lines to create a furry texture. On the tip of the foot, lightly sketch a few short curved lines to separate the toes. Draw a small triangular shape on the tip of each toe for the claws. Darken the toes around the claws. Make the front of the foot round. Darken the guide on the left to create the other front leg. Add a few more curved lines to create structure. Draw a curved line within the body to create the inner edge of the top of the leg. Lightly sketch a couple of curved lines to separate the toes. In front of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the claws. Darken the thin rectangular guide to the left for the first hind leg. Make the lines more curved than the guide to create the muscle structure. Make the tip of the foot rounder than the guide. Draw a series of short lines on the tip of the foot to separate the toes. Add tiny triangular shapes on the tip of each toe for the claws. Darken the guide farther to the left to create the other hind leg. Draw the toes and claws on the tip of the foot the same way. Darken the outer edges of the guides below the head to create the top part of the body. Use a series of short strokes on the right side to create a furry texture. At the bottom, make the body wider than the initial circle. Draw a curved line on the left side for the rest of the body. On the far left side, draw a long curved shape for the tail. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. The base of the tail will be hidden behind the body. Use a series of short strokes and angled lines as you draw the tail to create a furry texture. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long, but make sure that you go over your final lines slowly and carefully to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. Use a series of short vertical lines as you darken the bottom edges to create a grassy texture. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. Now color your drawing. I'm using markers to color, but you can use colored pencils too. Color the main part of the body using yellow, orange, and brown. Leave the lower half of the face and chest blank for the white fur. Color lightly at first and gradually build up to darker shades. Add a few shadows throughout the body using gray and a bit of blue. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Use black for the nose and the stripe on the face. Now add the distinctive spots across the body using black. Use small circular shapes to create the spots. Don't draw spots inside the muzzle. Draw the spots bigger in the body. The spots are made up of irregular shapes, so don't draw perfect circles. Draw thick stripes on the tail. Color the eyes red. Use yellow and brown to color the grass at the bottom. Go over the final lines with ink again to emphasize the shapes. Add a few more short strokes with ink to create a furry texture. If you'd like, you can add a bit of a background using blue and gray. Don't overlap the cheetah as you add the background. Coloring can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep coloring until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the cheetah. Remember to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com for more tutorials. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know in the comments what other animals you want to see me draw. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.